What's up, guys? All right, we are going to start a brand new lesson plan structure thing today. We are going to do advanced tutorials, and we're going to start off with how to make a calculator. All right, I told you guys the video is going to drop Wednesday. It's still Wednesday technically. It's like, I don't know, pushing 10, 10:30, 10:07. There we go. All right, so we're going to start off. I've already got the calculator written just to show you what we're going to make. Let me go ahead and show you. Let's see. Yeah, that's a big old window. Anyway, here is what we are going to be making. There we go. It's being slow. Anyway, here is the design of the calculator. It's really simplistic. Just your normal calculator: division, multiplication, subtraction, addition, sums, decimals, positive, negative, flips, backspace and clear. And here's how she works. You can either click the button, say 52.3 plus 3, 55.3. Or we can do, you can type it, 23.2 plus 1 equals 24.2. Got backspace, clear. Alright, that is how she works. Alright, so let me drag this over here. And we are going to go through this step by step, and we are going to make it again. Because after I do this, I've got to get in the bed because my wife and I are going to the beach tomorrow, and it's going to be amazing. Anyway, being on that point, there will be no video this Friday. The next video will come next Tuesday, so we're going to skip this Friday on the programming tutorials. Apologize, but you got to do what you got to do. Alright, so we're going to do a new project. This time we're going to do a Windows form application. You can name it whatever you want. For the purpose of this, I'm going to name it Calculator Tutorial. And it's going to create the project, and what you're going to get is this empty form. I'm going to drag it out and make it slightly bigger. Alright, so there's several ways you can do this. As you'll notice over here on the left, it'll probably be minimized for you. It'll be just floating over here where this data source is. But you'll have a toolbox. If you expand it and hit this pin, it'll stick out there for you. That's what I like to do because I hate it going away. So what you need to do, what I'm going to do, is I'm going to drag a button in here. I'm going to resize it how I want. That's about right there. And I'm going to make a lot of them. I'll get them spaced how I want them to be spaced. And I'm going to grab them, and I'm going to make several rows of them. Let's see. I'm going to grab them and shrink them on because they're slightly too big. Drag them down. Take this row, lower it a little bit. When you're doing Windows form applications, or really any application where you're going to have a user interface, a GUI, GUI stands for graphical user interface, 95% of your work is not going to be in the back end. It's going to be getting it how you like it to look. So yeah, this is the tedious part of programming form applications. I'll shrink the form size down some. Let's go ahead and we need 3 more buttons. We need our clear. And we need our backspace. Let's see. Oh, wait. Let me shrink that a little bit because we need. That'll work. We need our division button right here. Alright. Now we need to drag in a text box. Actually, no. I'm going to do a rich text box, because a rich text box I can resize the top and the bottom to kind of make it fit, you know, make it be as big as I want it to be. Let's grab all these buttons. Let's check them up here. About right there will be fine. Let's grab these three because the vertical spacing is not quite even, and I'm OCD about that. Grab it all. There we go. Looks like a decent calculator. All right, so our GUI is, our layout's done, right? I mean, we could recolor the buttons, we can do all that stuff, and we will get to that later once we're done. But let's work on getting the naming conventions and everything down. So our text box, that's the easiest one to start with because it's only got one. There's a few things we want to do with this. For one, we want to change the max length. We don't want it to be able to accept 21 billion characters or whatever that is. 214 billion. No, actually more than that. Trillion. 2 trillion. Okay, so what we want it to do is only accept, say, 10. I mean, I know calculators can go more than that, but for the ease of this tutorial, I'm going to make it 10. You can make yours 10 as well. If later you want to do something else with it, you can always increase the max length on that text box, and it can accept more numbers. All right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to rename it. I have a naming convention with text box. I do txt underscore, and then I'll put my name. This is going to be the write out, text write out. All right, so we're done with that guy. This is going to be our clear button. So we need to change the text. This is the text that you see when you launch the application. So it just needs to say C. C for clear, you know, the clear button on the calculator. And buttons is, I do btn as a button underscore clear. All right, so we're done with that button. This is going to be our backspace button. Backspace. And it's going to be, you guessed it, button backspace. This is our division button, so we're going to simply put a division sign in there. Simple as that. And you could probably guess what I'm naming this. Button divide. This is going to be number 7. This is going to be btn 7. This is 8. So on and so forth. This is 9. You know, a lot of people in tutorials would fast forward over this part just because you don't need to see us, you know, type everything in there over and over and over and over and over again. No. I'm going to make that an X instead of an asterisk because an asterisk is really too small to see. And I guess I could make it an asterisk and bump the font size up some to say 28. Then it doesn't quite line up. So we take the font back down to, what was it, 11? What is the font? Default font is 8, okay. And we'll drop the font back down to 8, and we will leave it at an X. Then it's all lined up and centered. Okay, this is button subtraction, so this is going to be a minus sign. This is btn minus, but that's not valid. So it's going to be btn subtraction. You'll notice that when you start getting into here, I forgot to name this one, special characters like your asterisks, your dollar sign, division, stuff like that aren't valid in names. So actually name them what they are. Button multiplication. All right, that's button subtraction. This is going to be button addition. And this is going to be a T. No. Plus. There we go. This is going to be our sum, or our equals. Button equals, and it's going to be the equal sign. Nope. There we go. Now we're going to take the font of these, and we're going to bump it up just a hair. Let's try 10. try 10 in bold. Yeah, that's good. All right, so back to the buttons. This would be button 4. This will be button 5. This will be 6. This will be 1. This is 2. Not 23. Always make sure your naming conventions are right and you don't fat finger anything, because it'll hurt you when we get into the backend code. Button 3, 3. Alright, so our equals is going to be, our button 1 is going to be our positive negative. What did I name that button? Alright. This one's going to be BTN. Pause, neg, flip, because we're flipping the positive and the negative. It's going to be BTN 0. And you guessed it, that's 0. And this is going to be our decimal point. And we are definitely bumping the font up on that. I'm going to throw it bold, give it 14 font. That'll work. Alright, that is it. Our base calculator is done. Well, hang on. Let's change the form. Alright, so the form name needs to stay form 1, or you can change it. Just make sure you change the backend code. Here's the text that shows up right there. So we're going to name it calculator tutorial. There we go. My brain went dead for a second. Anyway, calculator tutorial. There we go. Alright, so we have the calculator created. Here's what I want to do. This gray bothers me. I don't know if it bothers y'all. Oh, that's the 4 color. We don't want the 4 color to change. 4 color stay black. No, that's not it. The back color is what we want. There it is. There we go. We want these to go a different color. That'll work. This guy needs to be a pale red because you're deleting keys. And this is clear, so it can be white for all we care. There we go. Alright, and I don't know if it bothers you guys or not, but you don't have to do this. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I'm going to remove the border on this text box just because I don't really care for it. This is completely your choice. See, you can go to border style right here and change it, and it goes to none. And there we go. Now we have no border. Alright, so now my version of the calculator tutorial is done. Now all we need to do is go write the backend code. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to double click the form, and it's going to open up the backend code file. You have all these different methods and stuff made. We do not need any of these. We need system, and we need system Windows Forms. We need forms just to be able to actually use a form. We need system because it's the system. It holds everything. All right, so we're going to start in our class, and we have a few public variables we need to make, or we need to have a few class-specific variables we need to make. We need to make a float, because if they make a decimal, we need to be able to take in decimals. And it's going to be our first number, the first number they use. You type in one number, you do your operator, you type in your second number. So our first number equals 0.0f, because it's a float. You have to put the f at the end. And we're going to do the same thing, but this one's going to be second number, because it's going to be our second number. Alright. Our next one is going to be a string. And it's going to be the operation we're using, addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, multiplication, subtraction, addition. There we go. Operator. No, it can't be operator. It'll be operation. And right now, we're going to set it equal to blank because we don't have an operation yet. Then we're going to need a boolean, and it's going to be our is negative or positive or negative check. So we're going to name it is negative. And boolean's default value is false. So leaving it like this leaves it as false. All right, those are all the class-specific variables we need. Now, in our form's initialization, this means when we open the form, we need to make sure our text box writeout has focus. What focus does is it enables us to be able to type our numbers into the text box, because if it doesn't have focus, you can't type. All right, so we're going to say our text writeout dot focus. Now that's a method that's baked into every control in C# in Visual Studio. Any control, whether it be a button, text box, whatever, can automatically take focus. Focus is built into all of them. Focus just sets your cursor automatically on that. That's all we need in our form component. In this public form 1, anything that happens in here is what happens when the form is drawing itself, when it's loading. This is your loading function. The same as this. This happens, then this happens. Okay, our form 1 load is going to be a bit hairy. There's a lot of stuff that goes in here. What we want to do is we want to set our text writeout. We want to set the text component of that equal to 0. This way, when you load the calculator, you got a 0 in the text box. It's waiting on your input. And then we want to set this dot active control equal to our text writeout. So we have focus and we're active. We're ready to go. All right. Next, I'm going to make a little comment here so we know what's about to go under here. These are going to be our button click events, and there are a lot of them. What I'm going to do, instead of typing these, I already have them created in the other form, so I'm just going to copy them for you, so it saves a little bit of time. And let me get rid of this. All right, so what we have, our button 0 through button 9 dot click is basically, this is what's going to happen when we click that button. When we take our mouse and we click that button, we set it equal to a new event handler. What the event handler is, it handles the click event that you just caused when you clicked your mouse on that button. And we have to set it equal to a method that we're going to create down here later. In fact, we can go ahead and create that method now. It's actually going to be called our number button click. So it's going to be private void. So our private is our scope. Our void is our return type. When it's set to void, we don't want this method to return anything. Okay, so it's going to be number button click. And to be able to use for an event handler, it has to accept the same parameters that an event passes. So an event accepts an object, and we're going to call it the sender because we want to know what sent it. Sender is just the easiest way to remember it. And it's going to accept new event arguments called E. All right, there we go. Now we want to take this number button click, copy it, and we want to put it in here. Now every time one of these buttons get clicked, this method is going to get called. All right. So in here, what we want to do is we want to say if. Now I'm not explaining in great detail like I do normally in my tutorials, my base tutorials, because this is an advanced class. So I do expect you to know just a little bit. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to comment them, and I'll do my best to answer them for you if I'm skipping over anything that you really need to know. But yeah, just leave them down in the comments below, and I will help you out as much as I can. Okay, back to it. In this method, whenever we click a number button, we want to say if our text writeout.text equals 0. So this is what's going to happen if the text equals 0. We want to move that 0 out of there. We want to get rid of it. That's why you don't have 0 tacked onto the front of everything you always type. That's just a way to clean it up, and you get a free digit. Okay, now we want to say if our text writeout text length is less than 10. This means, we can only put our 10 digits in there. You have your max value on the text box, but in some rare occasions, it can glitch up and let you get through that. That's a bug that's been in Visual Studio for years. So we're going to manually code an error problem right here just to make sure they can't get over 10. But anyway, if it's not over 10, we want to hit, there's a baked-in method in system called sendKeys. And basically this is going to fake a key press. So it's going to act like, just like you type the number 5 on your keyboard, or whatever button you pressed. So we're going to say, we want to send the key dot send. Oh, wrong, my bad. Send keys dot send. This is going to send this following key we're about to type out. All right. We're going to cast our button sender dot text. Okay, so here's what this line is doing. As long as we're below 10 characters, we're going to turn our sender object that's getting passed through this event. So it's a button that's sending it. But it's a base object right here, so we have to turn it back into a button so we can use the text component of it. So we're going to take the sender and cast it as a button. And then we're going to grab the text component off of that. So basically, if we go back here and we click the number 3, we're going to grab this text component. Since it says the value 3, we're going to send as though we pressed the 3 button. All right. I know it's a bit confusing. Any questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. And then we're going to make sure our text write out has focus. And that is the end of this method. All right. Now back to our form load. So here's what we're going to do. We have our operator button click events we need to write. So our operator click events. I'm just going to paste these in so you don't have to see me typing them all. BTN subtraction, BTN multiplication, and BTN addition. All right, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to call this method operator button click every time one of our operator buttons gets clicked. All right, so operation button click, we're going to do it the same way we did our number button click. So we're going to do private void operator button click. All right, and same thing, we're going to pass it an object, sender, event args, e. All right, there we go. Now that's wired up. So inside this operator button click, it's going to be a little bit hairier than the number button click because there's a little bit of things we have to do. First off, we need to check and see if they have a number, because if they don't have a number, we don't need to pass an operator to it. But we need to check for negativity. We need to check a whole bunch of stuff. So let's just start out with our first number equal, we're going to cast it as a float, and we're going to convert to decimal our, but we're going to convert, or we're going to cast the sender object again. Did I miss it? Oh, no, yeah, that's wrong. Convert to decimal our text write out dot text. We always want to make sure we cast it a float even if we're not using a decimal, just in case they do have a decimal or they're doing division or something like that. We want to be able to return a decimal answer if a decimal answer is needed. All right, so that number is first number. We're casting the first number as a float, and we're converting to a decimal value, whatever's in the text box. All right, so next we need to do a check if is negative. So if our number is negative, then our first number, we're going to set it equal to 0 minus our first number, so we get the negative value. All right, and the reason we're not working with second number here is because you don't hit an operator after you hit the second number. And if you hit an operator after you hit 23 plus, that second plus will convert your 46 that's in the box. to your first number. Actually, it may not the way we're writing this. That may be a bug. We'll check it at the end. If it is, we'll go through live fixing it. That'll be a good little practice. Okay, so string temp operator. We're going to make a temp operator to hold our operator because we don't want to set our actual operator right now. So if sender does not equal null, then we're going to set temp operator equal to a cast of a button, sender dot text dot to lower dot trim. Okay, we're setting our text, we're making sure it's lowercase, and we're making sure we're trimming off any white spaces that could have gotten in there. This is just a little bit of default error checking. You normally wouldn't need to lower and trim because we used all lowercase and we used no spaces, but I've been burnt by that before, so I do it out of habit. So if sender is not null, then we're going to set temp operation equal to whatever the button text is. Otherwise, we're going to set temp operator equal to operation. So basically we're going to set it back to whatever operation was set to previously. Now we're going to do a switch statement. Switch, and we're going to switch it based off of the value of temp operator. It's going to be case a plus sign. So this is what will get executed if they press the plus sign. Operation equals addition. I'm going to copy and paste these because it saves a lot of typing. Okay, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. All right, so after this, we're going to say if not string dot is null or white space, and what is null or white space does is make sure that the string you're checking is not empty. So we're going to check operation. Basically, this is just a fail safe to make sure operation did get set in the switch statement. Then we're going to set text write out dot text equals 0. Oh, I forgot one thing in the form design. A label. And we're going to put it right here. And this is going to be our label negative. This is going to be our indicator whether we've pressed the positive negative button or not. And it's going to say neg. And the for color is going to be red as mess. And the back color is going to be, we're going to go to web and we're going to hit, not black, transparent. Really? It's don't want to go transparent for me. Oh well, it'll fix itself. Okay, so we're going to be our label negative dot text equals nothing. We're going to set the text equal to nothing to make sure our negative label. Actually, what we need to do is label negative dot visible equals false. All we need to do is change the visibility here. So we're going to set is negative equal to false because we're getting ready to. What this chunk right here is doing is we're getting ready to start accepting the second number. So we're going to say text writeout dot focus. You know what I was talking about that bug earlier about hitting addition over and over or hitting an operator over and over? It's not going to work. I know for a fact it's not going to work. And I already have it in my brain on how to fix it. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so when we click an operator, if our first number does not equal 0, then we want to set our first number equal to actually hang on. No, not yet. Not yet. We're not going to do it yet because we haven't coded what we need to code to get it done. Anyway, forget that last little piece. We will come back to that momentarily. Alright, so we've coded our operator button click. So let's go back up to the form load. And there's 2 more lines we need to add. These 2 lines are going to be how we handle key presses. So our text writeout.keyPress is going to pass a new keyPress event handler to a method called keyPress that we're about to create. And then we're just going to set focus on the writeout again. So we're going to do, once again, private, if I could spell, void, keys pressed. It's going to be object sender, keyPress event args e. And you see the error right here on keys press went away. Alright, so this guy is a bit hairy as well. So we're going to do if, and I'm going to try my best to explain this as easily as possible. There probably will be questions on this. Like I said, feel free to leave them for me. It's about 10:40 at night, so I'm getting kind of tired, and I've got to get up at like 3 in the morning. So I'm going to try to wrap this up for you guys. So if our character, this is the character data type, if car.isControl, so we're checking to see if the key character from our event args, e.keyCar, is in fact is not a control and not car.isDigit. What this is doing, I'll give you the TLDR of this. What this line is doing is it's only making sure we can input numbers into the text box. It's blocking all letters from being inputted, letters and special characters, except for the operators. So if it is one of those characters, we're going to set e.handled, which is basically the trigger that would get set when the key press does get handled, equal to true. However, we're going to throw a switch here, and we're going to do switch on e. We're going to switch on the key character to see what characters we're passing. And if it fits into a certain set of guidelines, then we want it to go through. We don't want it to fail out. So if case car, and this is where you would go to ASCIItable.com, which let's go there. It would help for you guys to see that. ASCIItable.com. This is a godsend when you're doing things like this. So basically these are your decimals. You see 32, 33, 37, 38. These are what you're going to be sending when you, this is what the system intercepts and reads whenever you hit a number. So, or if I was to hit the pound sign right here, what the system would see is I was actually hitting key 35. Make sense? If I was to do a capital H, it would see 72. But if I was to do a lowercase h, it would see 104. So that's how it works. Okay, so if we're passing 43, which is the plus sign on your keyboard, we want to break. But we're also going to do operation. We're going to set our global operation variable equal to plus. And then we're going to call our operator button click. We're going to pass it a null object because we're not going to have a sender this time. And we're just going to pass it a new set of event args because we're not going to use them. That's basically it. So we're setting operation equal to here. So in our operation, remember right here, where'd it go? There we go. If sender equals null, so if sender does not equal null, we're going to set it equal to whatever the button says it is. But if sender is null, we're assuming you typed the operation, so we're going to set it equal to whatever you set operation to by manually pressing the key. So that's what this will do. So we're going to copy this 4 times. So 43, 42, 45, and 47. So 42 is going to be our multiplication. So if our key code is X, we're going to send X. Or we're going to send subtraction. Or we're going to send division. I don't know these codes off the top of my head. Like I said, I've already written this program before, so it's easy for me to come back to it. Now, if we have character 46, 46 is our decimal place. It's the period key. There's something else we want to do if we get this. We want to check to make sure that our text writeout, that's a not, our text writeout.text contains, if it contains a period, we want to say e.handled. If it does not contain, it wants to be false. We need it to be false. So it goes ahead and handles the key press. Right, there you go. All right. That will basically handle all your operators and your decimal points, and will forbid any letters from being typed in there, so you won't get any invalid entries. So after the switch statement, we are in this if. So else, okay, so if this is a letter, it comes down in here and gets handled, right? Because it's not a control and it's not a digit. So if it's a letter, it gets down in here and it gets handled equal to true, which means we're going to go ahead and it's going to think the key was already handled, and it's going to say don't write it out. However, if it's any one of these, we're going to go ahead and press operation button click, which is going to pass that operation to that text box, or the decimal place to the text box. All right, there we go. Enough said. So otherwise, if it is a digit, we're going to say if our text writeout dot text equals 0, then we want our text writeout dot text to equal nothing. We want to remove that 0 so we don't get a leading 0 on all of our numbers. If our e.keychar equals, we're going to cast as a character the number 13, which is our equal key. This is our enter key. You know, you can hit enter to get the sum. So this is how we're going to handle that. We're going to call a method called equal button click, which we'll go program here in just a second. This isn't made yet. We're about to go make it now. So we're done with that. We're not done with operation button click, but we'll come back to it. Anyway, right after here, we're going to say private void equal button click object sender event args e. There we go. So our equal button click is fairly simple if I remember. Yes. All right, so we're going to set our second number equal to, we're going to cast it as a float, same way we did the first number in the operation button click. Convert dot to decimal. Text writeout dot text. All right. If is negative, negative. Need to fix that. Okay, where's the errors? There should be a few. Oh yeah, it's going to be in here. There, that should be it. Nope, there's a few more. There's one right there, but there's also going to be one more. Oh yeah, it's at the bottom of operator button click. It is negative. Okay, there we go. Sorry about the typo, but we got it fixed. Is negative. So if we're negative, second number, same way we did the first one, equals 0 minus second number. All right, now we got another switch. Switch operation. We're going to do case addition. Yeah, we don't need those. Break. Addition equals text right out dot text equals convert dot toString our first number plus our second number. Fairly straightforward. All right, let's do the rest of them. Subtraction, multiplication, division. All right. So, no. Subtraction, multiplication, division. Simple as that. All right, now after the switch, we just want to make sure our text write out has focus again. And that is it for the equal button click. All right, now the equal button click is here. We can go fix our operation button click with the error that we were going to have. So if our first number does not equal 0, okay, how do we want to do this? Actually, let me run this guy over here, our test one. This is the one that I created before, so let's do 53, 35, plus 56, plus 56. Yeah, see, it's just 56 plus 56. There's the bug. The bug is indeed real. Okay, so we need to take, so if we hit an operator, how do we need to settle this? Okay, there we go. If our first number does not equal 0, then we need to call equals, equal button click, null, new event args. So that's equal button click is basically going to take our second number and make it whatever is we're about to create. No, it takes it whatever's in the checkbox. But I believe that's going to get it. I believe that's going to get it. Yeah, I believe that's going to get it. Okay. We will find out shortly. All right. So next, see what all do we have so far. We have our operator button click, our number button click. Ah, there we go. We have two more methods we need to write. That is our decimal button click. Private void. This is the method that will get called when the decimals get clicked. Object sender, event args e. That's just base. That's the way everybody does it. So I should already have those in there. I do not. Here's our other button click events. There you go. Oh, nope. Let's put that back. So this is going to handle our equals, our button equals. All right, so see we got 4 more to write, and we don't need to finish decimal. Okay. So we're done with keys pressed. So decimal. So here's what goes inside of decimal. Decimal button click is very, very simple. We're going to say if not our text writeout dot text dot contains a decimal. We want to make sure we can't put more than 1 decimal in. That's what this is doing. We're going to send keys dot send wrong one. Button sender dot text. So basically we're going to cast the sender.text the same way we did earlier in the number button click of the decimal key that we pressed. And we're going to send the key press. We're going to programmatically make a key press. And then we're just going to make sure our text writeout has focus. That's it for decimal button click. So if text writeout if it does not contain a decimal point, we want to send the decimal point key. All right. So next will be our positive negative flip. So private void. Yeah, you can tell I'm getting tired because my typing is starting to suffer. Positive flip button click. All right. And same thing as always. Object sender event args e. All right, so in here we only got 4 lines of code. It's relatively simple as well. Is negative equals the opposite of is negative. All right, so what this does is negative equals not is negative. So basically, if it's true, it's going to set it to false. If it's false, it's going to set it to true. It just flips it on and off. So if we are negative, then we're going to set our label dot visibility equal to true. That's the way we can turn it on. Else, we're going to set our label visibility equal to false. So that way we can flip it off and on with the toggle of that button. Alright, then all we want to do is make sure our text writeout has focus. Anytime we do a button press, we always have to make sure our text box gets focus again. That is it. So we basically set negative to whatever the value of it isn't. We'll set it to the opposite of whatever it is. If we are negative, we want our visibility on our label negative to make sure we know that we're negative. Otherwise, if it's not negative, we want that visibility to go away. Alright, our next one is going to be our private void backspace button click. Always object sender event args e. There we go. And our backspace button is very simple as well. It's basically going to be our text writeout dot text equals our text writeout dot text dot substring. Substring just basically grabs a part of your string. So if you set it equal to 0, 3, it's going to grab the first 3 letters of your string. If you set it equal to 5, 3, it's going to grab the 5th, 6th, and 7th digit of your string. So there you go. That should be pretty easy to understand. So we're going to set it equal to 0, which is the first digit. And we're going to do our text writeout dot text dot length minus 1. So basically we're going to trim off the last digit you entered. Oh, one thing I did forget to do. Our rich text box, right to left. Calculators go from right to left, so we want it to go from right to left. Alright, so text right out text equals text right out substring 0 to length minus 1. So that's going to chop off the last character we entered. And then we're going to say if our text right out dot text dot length equals 0, then we want to put 0 in the text box. We want to make sure we can't trim off the last 0. This way we always have a number and we'll never get a blank text box. And then we just want to make sure, once again, every time we click a button, that we have what? Focus, that's right. I'm really not trying to sound condescending or anything like that. I'm trying to go into teacher mode, so I apologize if I'm sounding, like I'm talking down or anything. I'm really not trying to. So don't take any offense to the tones of my voice. That's just how I am. So I apologize for that. All right, so that little rant over. The next one and the last one we need to code is our private void clear button. Click. And this one is really simple as well. Object sender event args e, and it is going to be, if I remember right, just a few lines of code. Yep. We're going to set our first number and our second. No, we can't do it like that. Equals 0. Our second number equals 0. Our operation equals nothing. Our text write out equals 0. And we want to set focus. Text write out dot text. There we go. That is it for our clear button. And I believe, without borrowing any other information, I believe that's all we need. 182. Yeah, that is all we need, ladies and gentlemen. Let's run this bad boy and see what we get. No errors? Oh, we got a few errors. All right, let's see. Xamarin for Android. I'm not even trying to use Android. Okay. So our button backspace does not exist. btn backspace. Yeah, case sensitive. Very case sensitive. Did I not make the button decimal? Nope, I didn't go name it. Decimal. Button decimal. Alright, that should be it for the errors. Yay, our calculator showed up. Alright, so right now it thinks it's negative. So it's flipping. 2154 plus 56, 2210 plus 100, 2310. It did work. Sweet. That one line did fix it. Okay, so we need to figure out why our negative is showing up at the beginning. I know why, because we never disabled it to start with. So when we're loading the form, we want to set our label negative dot visibility equal to, not flash. Important thing to note in Visual Studio and C#, unless you start typing the word for a beginning, you will not get IntelliSense. IntelliSense is what pops up and predicts your text for you. If you are noticing that you're typing something wrong and you only erase the mistake, you'll have to type out the rest of the word without being able to fast type it with the tab key. Anyway, that should get us what we need. Yep, negative's gone. We hit it. Negative. Turn it around. Not negative. Okay. So if we do negative 21 plus 21. Whoa. That is not right, is it? Okay, so let's clear. Negative 21 plus 21. 0. There we go. Did I hit? Wait a minute. Let's see. Negative 21 times 21. How in the world did I come up with negative 441? I don't know. Times 2. Yep, because a negative times a positive is a positive. All right, that's 18 million. No, that's 1.838 million. Okay, so let's clear 21 divided by 21 should be 1. There we go. And I believe that's right. So let's clear. We'll do 144 divided by 12 equals 12 plus 24 equals 36 minus 41 equals. Wait a minute, I don't think I hit minus. I think I hit divide. Okay, so let's clear again. So 41 minus 6 equals 35. Okay. Plus 12 equals. Oh, there is still a bug in there. Alright, so still remembering our first number. Okay, so in our operator, if first number is not equal to 0, then we don't want it first equal, but yeah, we do. Okay, let's try that again. 56 plus 56 plus. Okay, still going back to 0. So our equal button click. Alright, so we're going to do 56 plus 56 plus. Our second number is 56. Our first number is 56. We have an operation. Oh! Okay, so there's the bug. Okay, so here's what we need to do. Alright, that makes sense. We're going to cut this because I'm going to want to use that. So if our first number does not equal 0, then we're going to set our first number equal to, or if first number equals 0, we're going to set first number equal to the write out of whatever's in the text. Otherwise, if we're hitting a second plus, wait, we need to put that in there too. Okay, otherwise, if we're hitting like a second operator, then we're going to need to come down here. We're going to need to get the operator, and then we're going to say if first number does not equal 0, then equal button click. That should get it. 56 plus 0. Okay, so let's stop. We're going to start. We're going to say 56 plus. Okay, we should not get here on the first plus. Oh, yeah, because, yeah, we are. Okay. Okay. I know how we can solve this. We'll use a boolean. Bool has been set. Set has been set equal to true. Okay, so if first number equals 0 and has been set false, okay. There we go. Alright, so this should get it. So if we come through and we're setting it for the first time, we're going to set has been set equal to true. And we're going to go down here, and if it is true, we're going to skip this. However, if we come down through here, we're hitting the operator button again, first number is not going to equal 0, and has been set is going to be false. If first number doesn't equal 0 and has been set equals false, we're going to call the equal button click. So 56 plus 56 plus 56 plus, first number is 56, second number is 56. Okay, so we're setting it back equal to 0 because we're expecting it to be the first write out. So if it has not been set, okay, we only want to set it to 0 if we're not doing the equal button click. Okay, so if we're trying to figure, if we're hitting the operation for a second time or third or whatever, then we're going to get the sum of that and set it equal to that. Otherwise, we want the second number to be 0. So let's run this. $6.52, sweet, minus, oh. Oh, wait, dang. Let's try it again. I'm going to do 56 plus 56. Okay, that should equal 112. Okay, now we're going to do minus. Another bug, ladies and gentlemen. The joys of programming. Get used to it. This is what it will be over and over and over again. It's not a very good tutorial, though, because I should have had the bugs out of this. But hey, you live and you learn, right? Alright, if you can see my head right now, I'm holding my head down in shame. Anyway. Anytime we need to hit. Okay, yeah. So that's bad. So anytime we hit an operator button, we need to set first number equal to whatever's in the box. So we need to get rid of that. Okay, and if first number does not equal 0, which it never will. Hmm. Second number does not equal 0. Then we want to do equal button click. And when we do equal button click, we need to make sure second number gets set back to 0. That should do it. Oh, we're never hitting equal. Okay, so yeah, that's not going to work. Alright, so if first number does not equal 0, then we hit it. That means we're hitting it for a second time. We need to call this equal button click, and then we need to set first number back equal to 0. See if that does it. Sorry, excuse me. No, that's not right. We need to move this up. Where is the error? Did I see an error? I do not see an error. Oh, right there. If I copied this, I'm just going to grab it. Back to what it was. Alright. Oh, 56 plus 56. Why did that not work? $56 plus first number equals 0. 56 plus 56. Okay. We get down in here. Oh yeah, our operation still isn't set. That's going to be a problem. Okay, so I'm going to do the whole thing to below where the operation gets set. Yep. Okay, let's try that. Okay, 56 plus 56 plus. Okay, it remembered it. It's still bringing it out to 0. Alright, so 56 plus first number equals 0. Good. 56 plus first number equals 56. Okay, that's what it is. So if we have an operation and our first number does not equal 0, because if our first number, no. Okay, so if first number, no, because first number does not equal 0 is always going to be true. So if our operation, if we have an operation, which we will, and our first number is always going to be set in here. We can't use first number as a check. Okay, So if our operation is set, and our text, we're going to convert it, or we're going to cast it to an float, and it's not going to let us because the string can't convert to a float. I'm going to convert dot to decimal, or text right out dot text. Does not equal 0. Alright, so here's what we're doing here. I have the insert key on. Alright, so basically if we have an operation and our number in the box does not equal 0, no, if it does equal 0, yes, that's right. Alright, so 56 plus, first number, 56 plus, that's a bug. Okay. So if we don't have an operation, or if we do have an operation, we want the text to be 0. Well, that may be right. I may be just getting ahead of myself here. 56 plus 56 plus. See, what's stopping us right here is that the fact that when we do a sum on when we hit another operator, so if we do 56 plus 56 equals 112, it's capturing the 112, but it's throwing it back to 0 before you get a chance to see it. We can solve this one of 3 different ways. We can either take right up here, like Microsoft did in their latest version of their calculator, and add a string up there to let you know what your first digits are. We can remove the 0 and just have the first digits be overwritten automatically, like old school calculators used to do. Or, I mean, whether that's the only 2 ways to do it, there's not a third way to do it. I am more in favor of adding a label because that will make this a whole lot easier. And this video's already going on an hour and a half long, and I don't want it to be too god-awful long for you guys. So let's just do that. Alright, so label. This is going to be LBL first number. LBL first number. Text is going to be 0. So every time first number gets set, label first number equals first number dot toString dot text. Alright, so 56 plus 56 plus 56 plus. See? Now it's working, and that squashes the last and final bug in here. Alright, I know this was a headache. I know it was. So, yeah. I'll put this right here. And there's a way. Yeah, that should do it. Alright, so let's break off this breakpoint. '56 plus, '56 plus, '56 plus. That's a bug. Okay. Just gonna set it right here because I don't feel like squashing that bug right now. String was in the correct format. We got the scientific notation. Okay. Okay, yeah, scientific notation will break this calculator. So what we'll do is we'll put this in a try. Catch. Alright. So what a try and catch does is basically it tries to do something. And if it can't and fails with a hard error, it's going to come down here to the catch. So we're going to pop up a message box dot show. Your result is too great to be shown. We do not accept scientific notation. I don't want to get into coding a scientific calculator right now, so I'm not going to do that. So, yeah. So let's try it again. 5, 6, 6, 6, 6, plus 5, 6. There we go. But it shows it anyway. But yeah. So we'll just hit the clear at that point. Oh, clear needs to reset the label too. Okay. Let's go fix that. Yeah, this would have been a whole lot easier if I'd have found these bugs in testing, but for some reason I didn't. But hey, it'll actually be good for you guys, I think, because it will show you what a headache programming can be. And that the tiniest little thing that you never notice when you're testing all this stuff can creep up and bite you in the butt. So I'm going to leave all this stuff in here. You guys are going to see every bit of it and know what a headache this can be. So yeah, that should be it for the calculator. Let's see here. Let me go back to my recording software and my face. All right, guys, that was a nightmare for a tutorial video, but it all works. It's there. It's a calculator. It's what was promised. There's a lot more in there than I originally intended it to be. There's a lot more in there than I have covered in the tutorials. If you guys have any questions, which I know you will, feel free to leave them down in the comments, and I will answer them as quickly and as efficiently as I can. Also, if you like the video, if you liked all my other videos, make sure you hit that like button, hit a subscription for me. I'd really appreciate it. If you're interested in my video game streams, I do game streams Monday through Friday starting at 11 a.m. If you'd like my videos a lot and you'd like to support me, I have a Patreon link. You can support me on Patreon. I have 4 different tiers ranging from $1 to $20. All of them come with different rewards, and you get access to the source code. So if you'd like this calculator source code from me so you don't have to write it yourself, you can go to my Patreon, you can throw down a subscription, and I'll send you one of the source code files. The links are going to be down below. So I guess that's it. I will see you guys next Tuesday in my following video because I'll be out of town for the rest of the week. I look forward to seeing you guys then. See ya.